For today's cooking, we are going to feature some of our own Meredith magazine brands.
Yeah, many people got into baking while spending more time at home during the pandemic. And today, an editor at Rachael Ray In Season magazine has great tips on how to be a better baker.
The next time you're making cookies, we encourage you to make a double batch. It doesn't take much extra time up front, but we assure you that you'll be so happy when you find them stashed in your freezer. It's really easy to do. When you're scooping the dough, you just put the dough balls on a parchment-lined baking sheet and pop it right in the freezer. Once it's frozen, you'll transfer that dough to a resealable plastic bag. And when you're ready to bake, all you have to do is take the dough out, put it on the parchment, and stick it in the oven. You can bake it just as you normally would, just add a few extra minutes of time. If you're anything like me, your bananas end up turning brown before you finish them. But there's no need to worry about that. In fact, sometimes I even let my bananas go brown, knowing that I'll want to make banana bread in my future. So what you'll do, once they go brown, you'll just pop them right in a resealable plastic bag, peel and all, and throw that in your freezer. When you're ready to bake, you'll just take the bananas out. You can put them in a bowl, allow them to thaw, and then you can squeeze the fruit right out of the peel and mash it, and you're good to go. So you can build your pantry like the pros. Take inventory of what shelf-stable baking supplies you have and the ones that you don't, such as flour or sugar or baking soda, even dried fruits or nuts. Make a list. And then every time you're out shopping or you're making your grocery list, add one or two of those items, and then you can store those away for future use so you're ready. Another thing we like to tell people is to always have a few sticks of butter in the freezer, so then you're ready to go. So we've all been there. We've started a recipe or we are planning on making something, and all of a sudden we realize that there's an ingredient that we don't have. Don't worry, in most cases, there are perfectly fine substitutes. For example, eggs. So there's lots of ingredients that can substitute for the moisture and binding power that eggs provide. For example, you could use applesauce, or in some cases you can use mayonnaise, and you can even use some of those mashed bananas. Also, for baking soda, if you don't have it, you can use baking powder if that's something available to you. You just have to use 4 times the amount that the recipe called for. Last is I don't have buttermilk. And a lot of baking recipes do call for buttermilk. So easy fix, you can make your own. You just use a scant cup of milk, and then you just add a tablespoon of lemon juice or distilled white vinegar, mix it in, and you're good to go. Or you can just substitute the buttermilk entirely with thinned out sour cream or yogurt.
Amazing tips there. For more baking tips, head to rachaelraymag.com.
Rachael Ray In Season is owned by the parent company of Fox 10, the Meredith Corporation.